from a different star, flying over streets and the broken hearts. But they can't even touch us, we found a different beat. Paradise is waiting and we bought the lead. Ooh, getting caught in the mist, there's so many that never get out of. They're feeding the fears and the doubts.
Hello and welcome to the long anticipated Combined Training Championships vlog. Me and Meggie have arrived. We're at Onley, first time here. I've had a scout around to find where the arenas are. Been and had a walk of the show jumping, so I'll show you that. But we are here today to do our prelim 18 with an 80 centimetre show jumping round, followed by our novice 24 test and our 90 centimetre show jumping round. She's been show jumping, I could probably count on one hand how many times she's been show jumping. So we're literally just here to have fun, do our best. Somebody's a bit impatient. She wanted to get going. And yeah, we'll keep you posted with how we get on. I did spot on the start list there are a few professional riders here with their youngsters. So for me, that has sort of taken the pressure off a little bit, and I just want to be able to enjoy it, do our best, and yeah, no pressure, like I say. We're just here to have some fun, aren't we, Megs? And eat, obviously. That's Mega's aim at a game. So guys, let's get stuck straight in. So we head down the centre line in working trot and then track right at C. We scored a 7 for this. There's not a huge amount of comments on my test sheet here, so it's just scores mainly. At B, we half circle right 20 metres to E. We scored a 7.5. She is getting noticeably better and better with her circles and suppleness and bending around my inside leg, so I was really pleased with that. Then at C, we turn down the centre line, and then at A, we track left. For this, she scored a 7. Then at B, we half circle 20 metres to E. We scored a 7, and funnily enough, the judges put more suppleness on the half circle. I think I remember I was losing her a little bit out of her shoulder, which she does have a tendency to do more on that rein. Then at A, we start our serpentine of 3 loops, which we scored a 7 for. The judge has just remarked contact a little unsteady, accurate shape though, which I was pleased with because I have not been known for my accuracy at times, so pleased to see that that wasn't my issue this time. C, E, K, we just continue in working trot and we scored a 7. And then between K and A, we pick up working canter left, and at A, we begin our 20 metre circle in canter. She scored a 7 for this, and watching this, I can see such a noticeable difference in her canter versus her area festival tests, for example. She's so much more relaxed and supple through her body, and it's really pleasing to see. We continue in canter AFM and we scored a 7 for that, coming back to working trot at M, which we scored a 7 for. C, we come back to a medium walk and we scored a 7 for that. You then change the rein HXF in a free walk on a long rein. She scored a 7.5, which is brilliant because you get double marks for this movement. And the judge has actually put nicely relaxed, and I was so pleased because this is a venue that Mega has never been to before. There was a lake to the left of the arena. I really wasn't sure what she was going to be like, but she was marvellous. From F, you pick back up into medium walk, and then at A, EH, you pick up working trot, and we scored a 7 for that. essentially we then repeat what we've just done on the other rein. So between H and C, pick up working canter right. At C, circle right 20 metres in canter. We scored a 7.5 for that. You then continue around the edge of the arena, C, M, F in canter. We scored a 7. The judges just noted keep suppleness, which I do remember along this long side worrying her quarters were turning in slightly. At F, we then come back to working trot, and at A, we turn back down the centre line, which we scored a 7 for. And then at X, halt, immobility, salute. And I mean, how good is that halt? We scored a 7.5. Very, very chuffed. So let's get underway with the 80 centimetre show jumping. Funny story, very nearly wasn't able to walk the course for this, but thankfully we managed to get it sorted out and I was able to walk it. Didn't want another disaster like last week. She got a really nice jump and shot over the first one. It was then a little dog leg to number 2, which she did go a little bit green and looky at, but with a bit of encouragement, jumped it nicely. We then come back round on ourselves to number 3, which was a double. And she did go very green and looky at this, but actually it really helped us out because the striding for that double was horrendous. It was a really, really long 1, right, basically impossible, or a really short 2. So that actually did help us out. There, for number 4, she was too busy spooking at the edge of the arena, but luckily she did get her concentration back on for number 4. Really nice line and good shot to number 5, which in both classes she jumps that absolutely mega. Comes round to number 6 on a bit of a gung-ho approach and gets a bit of a long one. Nice shot over number 6, which I was really pleased with, and she was almost getting into a little bit of a rhythm here, so I think I relaxed a little bit. Again, jumps number 7 fine, and just comes round to number 8 here and just started looking, and she really did think about going, but I just wasn't quick enough to react and tell her, no, we do want you to go. So I didn't get in a flap, I just literally circled her, brought her back round, and as you will see, with a bit more encouragement this time, she jumps nicely. But again, the striding in this double as well was a little bit odd, but she was very careful and lifted her legs over it. Finally over number 9, and I was so pleased with her. She jumped absolutely mega.
I can't tell you how pleased I am. Look how tomatoey I look. But yeah, we did a really nice test. I didn't actually get to warm up for as long as I had hoped for, so we could have probably done with an extra 5 and 10 minutes, but she did a nice test regardless, so I was pleased with that. And then it was a very quick turnaround, like literally change her saddle, put some boots on, jump a couple of fences and go in for the jumping, and she did. And she went a bit green and very looky at the course, but she jumped so amazing. She was jumping really, really nicely. I was worried after last weekend that she might have had a little confidence knock where we crashed through that spread, but she was jumping absolutely mega today. So pleased. Oh my god, I'm frantically running back to the lorry to tuck my pony up because we're needed for the mountain prize giving.
So it turns out little Meggie had scored 71.34% in her prelim test, which actually put us in second after dressage. And then our 4 faults in the show jumping just pushed us down to third. But yeah, that meant we were needed for the mounted prize giving. Top 3 at a national champs. Whoop whoop. I actually realised after this that Mega and I have never done a mounted prize giving before, and just look at how cool and calm she is, literally like a little professional. She's been doing it all her life. So proud of her.
Congratulations once again to those top riders in the 80 centimetre class.
Took some time, but we pointed out that tomorrow isn't here right now, baby. An absent mind came to roam around, captured you in a foggy cloud, baby. Standing on my toes on the edge, I'm ready to go. See it clear when the shadows are lit. I'm ready to go. I'm taking matters into my own hands now. Let's face it, we only got this life to live out. So follow me, I'm ready to go. I'll take the lead, I'm ready to go.
And just like that, it was on to the next. So novice 24, this was our third ever time doing this test, and we're at a championship, so we move. We've gone up the centre line, turned right, and we scored a 7 for that. At M, we started our 10-metre loop in from the track XF, and we scored a 7 for that. I've clearly got better at my loops in the 3 tests that I've done. Then at A, we half circle right 20 metres to X, and just before X, transition to walk for 1 horse's length. Normally she does this really nicely, but I remember her, resisting against my contact there. So we got a 6.5 with a note steadier to contact. You then immediately proceed in working trot from X to C for another half circle, which we scored a 6.5 for, again saying steadier to contact, where I think she was just being a little fussy with her head. We then do another loop in from the track 10 metres HXF, which we scored a 7 for. And then we go round to F and change the rein FXH, showing some medium trot strides across the middle, which we scored a 7 for. At C, we transition down to medium walk, which then continues on M to X in medium walk. We scored a 7 for that, with a comment of fair steps. She's got actually a really nice walk and naturally tracks up, so we always generally get quite a good mark for her medium walk. And then from X on to K, it changes to a free walk on a long rein, which we scored a 7 for, and a comment saying maintain stretch, where she just wasn't consistent in taking the contact down and forwards. At A, we go back up into medium walk. We scored a 7. I always struggle with picking Mega back up after a free walk. She naturally anticipates going back up into trot, so we always get a little bit of tension there, so I was quite pleased with that. At F, we go back into working trot, which we scored a 7 for, and M, we pick up working canter left. We then circle at E 20 metres and show some medium canter strides on the second half of the circle, which we scored a 7 for. The judge has just commented, take the contact more forward, which I think is fair. At A, we half circle left 20 metres to X, and then before X, you're supposed to transition for 1 horse's length in trot, and you will see Mega didn't really do that. She knew exactly what was happening and got very tense and hollow and excited. So we scored a 6 for that, saying loss of balance through the transition. For the second half circle, we scored a 6.5, saying that her quarters were in slightly. And then at B, we circled 20 metres. We scored a 6 for this, and there was a give and retake on the second half of the circle, again saying her quarters were in slightly. You continue round down to A, where you transition down to working trot. You then change the rein across the diagonal KXM, showing some medium strides of trot, which we scored a 6.5 for, saying it needs more weight on the hind legs. At C, we circle left 20 metres, allowing the horse to stretch. We scored a 6 for this, with the judge saying seek stretch more, and that she hollowed slightly on the retake, which, as I said, is something I do tend to struggle with. Then finally at E, we half circle left 10 metres to X and journey up to G to halt, immobility and salute, which we scored a 7 for. Well done, Meggie. luckily the course for the 90 was the same as the 80, so I didn't have to go back in and rewalk it. That was definitely a blessing in disguise, because I think had I seen some of these fences from the ground, I'd have been absolutely terrified. But she jumps number 1 and 2 very, very nicely, much nicer flowing rhythm than the first round, so I was very pleased with that. Fence 3, she gets a lovely shot into it, but you'll see what I mean about the striding just for that double wasn't quite right. A lot of people were having that second part, the double down, so I wasn't too worried about that because she did jump it really nicely. Number 4, we get a much better curving line too, but she chipped in right at the end, but gets a lovely shot to number 5 on the dog leg, which I was super chuffed with. Jumps it like it's absolutely nothing. I then just correct her lead here for number 6, and I think the canter was then just a little bit too open, which is what causes us to have the front part of the spread down. And then I think that canter just continues on a bit too much of an open stride, and she comes to 7 and is just like, whoa, there's a jump there. So I just recollected her, gathered her up, represented, and she then pops it really nicely. We then continue round to number 8. She did back off a little bit again, so we got a bit of a funny stride, which then sort of duffed the whole double up, to be honest. Again, the striding was a little bit weird for that one. And then we turned to the final fence, which she jumped superbly. I was so pleased with her. That's her second time doing a 90 course in the last year or so chuffed.
That is us all done. What a whirlwind it's been, but she did a lovely novice test, and then in the 90, which might I add was pretty beefy and our only second 90 since she's been back from surgery, so we were thrown a little bit in the deep end. And like I said, I do think last weekend did just knock her confidence a little bit, so we did actually have a stop in the warm-up, so that wasn't great setting us up, but we went in and she went round. Like, yes, we took a lot of poles. I think we ended up on 16 faults, but she jumped them all and jumped really nicely, so I'm actually really pleased with her. We need to do loads more work with her jumping, and this was literally throwing her a little bit in the deep end, expecting her to go to jump a championship course when, yeah, like I say, she's literally done a handful of show jumping shows since she's been back into things, so I am very pleased with her. One happy mummy, one happy Megwin. Just picked up my sheet for the novice and seen the placings. We aren't in any placings for the novice, surprise, with 16 faults, but her dressage was pretty good, 67.39% I think it was, which had we been clear or just had a pole or something like that, we would have been in the top 10 again. She'd have been in 5th if we were just on our dressage. So I am mega chuffed with her, going home with a big smile on my face. Hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog and coming along to the champs with us. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, because we're off to Pet Plan Area Festival Championships next week. What fun that's going to be too. See you then. Bye.